Well, now it's time to meet with an non-stop day. It's safe to say we'll have some fun today on Geek World Radio.
Hi everybody, welcome to a new episode of Geek World Radio. So this week was the presidential inauguration, so we decided what better time is it to talk about one of the trippiest, one of the grooviest comic book characters of all time. Who we talking about, Anime?
Prez.
Oh yeah, the first teenage president.
Brought to us by Joe Simon, the same guy that brought us Captain America. I mean, you go from Captain America, what comes next? What's the great thing that you can do now for this country? Create Prez.
Good work, Joe. You are a true American hero.
He created it in 1973 for DC Comics, so, DC Comics knew where it was at.
So, 1973, the age of the baby boomers. How is it possible that this teenage boy could become President of the United States, Anime?
Well, let's start off and talk about the fact that his name really is Prez. His mother, Martha Ricard, she was like, this baby, he could grow up. He should grow up someday to be president. What should I name him? I'll name him Prez.
Smart mom.
Now, they're from this place called Steadfast Middle America. Apparently, Steadfast Middle America is filled with some of the dumbest people on the planet. Why do I say that? Because they have a ton of clock towers, and for some reason, nobody in this town can figure out how to make them run at the same time. So there's bells going off all the time. People just live their days with constant chime.
Do people just running around covering their ears, just screaming down the streets because there's nothing but do 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 all day long?
It seems so. Well, great news for them. There's this teenage kid who figures out how to make all the clocks run at the same time.
What a genius.
Yeah.
So, Anime, he got all the clocks fixed, but still, that doesn't make him president.
No, but it did make him senator.
Ah!
That's right. Because he, I guess, made the people stop going insane or something, they decided to elect him senator. Now, let's keep in mind that they were probably nuts at that point.
Mostly, that's a good point, Anime.
From hearing all the chiming all the time, and so, that's why they made him the senator. Now, you're probably thinking, you can't be a senator when you're a kid. Well, you mentioned before the baby boomers. There were so many young people that there was an act of Congress that essentially made it so that you could become a senator at a young age.
Ooh.
So because there was such a young Congress and Senate, they made a constitutional amendment that the president could be elected at age 18 and not 35.
There you go. I think that was a great idea. Way to go, baby boomers.
Yeah. And really, what excuse did they have? They didn't have constant ringing all the time.
Exactly. That's a good point. I don't know. They were just, impetuous youth, Anime.
It's true.
Impetuous youth. Still, how does he become president? I mean, that's pretty hard.
Well, he fixed all the clocks in Steadfast Middle America. And so, of course he's going to win the election for president. That's really it. I mean, that's how he won. I mean, he did say no to corruption, but pretty much the only reason that he got elected president, his main credential was, hey, look, I made all the clocks in Steadfast run at the same time.
Well, not only that, but in his special abilities category, it does say he has a sunny and enthusiastic outlook on life.
That's a good point.
So it's like some Superman has flight, super strength, heat vision, and, Prez has a sunny, enthusiastic outlook on life.
Yeah, superhero
equal.
material.
Pretty equal. So, basically, because 45% of the voters in America at this time were all under 30, they voted for Prez to be president after Nixon.
Right, because as we all know, when you're electing someone, you just choose the person that's the most like you.
Exactly. Duh.
Yeah.
So now we have a teenage president. So, what's the first thing he does when he's president, Anime?
Well, you're probably wondering, who's the vice president? He puts his mom in the office.
Not a bad idea. I mean, clearly she was smart enough to name him Prez.
He also gives his sister a job. She becomes his secretary.
Okay.
I don't think Secretary of State or Secretary of anything. I think literally his secretary. But,
Still,
family
the
gets to
president's
hang out
secretary.
together.
Yeah.
Now, he also makes one other very important hire for the chief of the FBI, and I say chief for a reason, because he hires his Native American friend, Eagle Free, to be the chief of the FBI.
Well, clearly, this guy must have had credentials. What was his deal, Anime? Was he like a cop or like a military guy?
He lives in a cave. That cave is chock full of books. He's friends with animals. He travels with them all the time.
Is he at least, like, well-dressed, like, businessy and stuff like that?
If by businessy you mean stereotypical Native American with no shirt and, like a headband with a feather in it, then yeah, totally businessy.
Wow.
Totally.
And he was the director
qualified.
of the FBI.
Well, yeah. Prez had some pretty crazy things to deal with. There were evil chess players. Yeah. Including Bobby Fishhead.
Oh, no.
He had to deal with a right-wing militia led by the great something or other grandnephew of George Washington.
Wow. Okay. All right.
My personal favorite, he had to deal with legless vampires.
Oh, no.
Vampires, vampires can be kind of scary. But you know what's even scarier? When they can't even reach your neck.
It's true.
I mean, when they're...
Bite your ankles.
Yeah, when they're rolling around on, like, a little, platform with wheels because they have no legs. Mm-hmm. That's pretty terrifying.
Prez is a great president. I read this little thing where basically he was, like, negotiating with an ambassador from China. Mm-hmm. So, of course, he played ping pong with him and defeated him.
Yeah.
And said, "My game, sir." Because that's what presidents do. That's what Prez does.
Now, like we said, Prez did have to face some pretty tough things. But, luckily, Eagle Free was always there. And I do literally mean always there. Now, I mentioned that Eagle Free lives in a cave, but apparently he slept in a teepee on the White House lawn. Because he would sometimes come running out of that thing and, just burst into Prez's room and be like, "Hey, Prez, something's up!"
"Hey, Prez, you know that suitcase? That was a coffin, and now there's a legless vampire on top of you."
Yeah.
Also, Anime, it's important to note that Eagle Free did teach Prez hand-to-hand combat.
Well, yeah, Native American hand-to-hand combat is the best.
Exactly, and so that's how he can protect himself against evil chess players and legless vampires.
Yeah.
I think my favorite panel is when they couldn't find Transylvania on a map because of a giant cloud.
Yeah, covered by a dark cloud, and so it's not on the map.
Yeah.
Really?
Who knew?
Seriously.
Who knew? Yeah. So, Anime, that's got to be one of the strangest characters I've ever heard of.
Yeah, and, he didn't quite go away. He did show up in a few other things here and there.
Yeah, he ended up in an issue of Sandman, which is really weird. He also ended up in sort of a cameo in The Dark Knight Strikes Back. He was even in an episode of Batman Brave and the Bold. Mm-hmm. But I honestly think it's really sad that DC did not add him to the New 52. I think it would have been perfect time to have Prez.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he was just too groovy for this world.
Yeah, a 4-issue run was all he got.
That's all he got. Okay, folks, that's it for this episode of Geek World Radio. I hope you guys had a great time, and we'll see you next week. Don't forget, if you want to listen to our radio show, it's on every week on Indie 100 and The Point.
And you can send us an email to geekworldradio@yahoo.com, and be sure to check out our website, geekworldradio.com.
Watch out for those suitcases. They might be coffins with legless vampires inside. Okay, guys. Bye!
Well, now it's time to loot with an non-stop day. It's safe to say we'll have some fun today on Geek World Radio.